You're watching TVC Breakfast. The discovery of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 has resulted in a number of travel bans across the world. And in what seemed like a retaliatory move against their decisions to include Nigeria in the red list countries, the federal government is set to ban flights from the United Kingdom, Canada, Argentina, and Saudi Arabia. This is the crux of our discussion. Next, journalist and social commentator Dario Dufowoko joins me now to help make sense of all of this and finding a way forward. Dario, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Great. Now, it is no longer news that Nigeria was included in the red list of some of the countries, UK, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Canada, and so on. But one way or the other, a lot of people have commented, especially Nigerians and other African countries, have said that this is not out of science. The decision here should have been based on verified and logical or scientific decisions backed up by the science of it. But this seemed to be more political or more diplomatic than science. What do you say about this?
Well, I think it's obvious that the records, available records, were probably ignored in taking those decisions, because a country where Omicron is doing more harm than Nigeria, waking up to say, we don't want people from your country. How do you explain that? In this fight against COVID-19, a lot of brotherliness is required. And then we would discourage ourselves by taking certain actions without considering the efforts of individual countries to fight this menace. Nigeria is doing its best. The Omicron is yet to really ravage us here. When these countries now put us on the red list, alongside countries that are obviously under the siege of Omicron, it sends the wrong signal. And I must say that except something is done very, very urgently to redress this, it will lead to what you already mentioned, diplomatic row. And it's happening now. Because if you say, don't come to my country because of Omicron, and I think that you have it more than me, why should I allow you to come to mine? When the record shows that you are more endangered as at today, then why should I allow you? So it's not even. That is that the diplomatic respect that should come with taking decisions like this probably was not given a thought, and that is why you did. And then at a period like this, you don't take decisions that we can say it's quite harsh, considering the exchanges in traffic between Nigeria and many of these countries. We have Nigerians over there who want to come home. We have people here, expatriates, belonging to such countries too, who would want to go. So you want to start evacuating your people, while our own who have serious businesses, good reasons to be in your own country, won't be able to go. I think we should do better in jaw-jawing than preparing for hostilities.
Yes. Now the issue, another thing there which has made Nigerians to even react more is that in all of the ban putting Nigeria on the red list does not include those who are going to school, who are going to pay so much amount of monies, to stay in the UK, to school and do other businesses, but just visitors. So a lot of people have used the word hypocritical when it comes to
because they gave good consideration to their economic interest. You are saying people want to come back to school, people want to come and do businesses are exempted. That speaks volume. Now, those who are bringing money into our country can come, but those who want to visit for other reasons stay away. Then how do you determine the effect of those that you are allowing to find their way in on your health status? It is hypocritical. They will try to explain it. They will find good reasons for it. But it will just be good reasons. Reasons clothed in goodness. When you unwrap it, you discover that it cannot stand the test of time. It cannot beat the argument of reason. We should look at it in such a way that Omicron, COVID-19 is a global issue. And we must address it as a global family. If you say Nigerians, okay, we won't allow flights from Nigeria into UK, for example, and then Nigerians find their way to Indonesia, and from Indonesia they find their way into your country, and what you are running away from will still happen. So why don't we have a general approach that safeguards the entire interest of the globe? Because it is the globe, it's the entire world that is threatened. It is the entire world that is threatened. And then if we are selective in our fight against COVID-19, we'll only be pushing forward the bad day. Because the country you ban today will live with it. You think you are free, then 1-2 persons from here brings a fresh variant. Because if you don't help the third world to fight this scourge, the virus will not die. And we have learned that the longer it stays, it comes in stronger variants. Then
It begins to mutate.
it mutates. So what we should think about is their problem. We shouldn't see it as their problem, but our collective problem. I mean, if I will now bring in diplomatic issues, it will affect the fight against COVID-19, because your assistance to me in the area of vaccines, you withheld it. If you say flights should not come from A to B, vaccines may not move from A to B. So we need to know it's a collective worry, and we must be cautious in handling it diplomatically.
All right, recently, a country like Rwanda, that's on the African continent, also banned countries from Southern Africa following this variant. You mentioned the African brotherliness earlier on. In that spirit, how do we decipher, how do we balance the issue of I need to protect my citizens, and then there also needs to be friendliness and brotherliness amongst countries?
No, then to do that, or to allow that to be done, is for us not to complain or blame those countries who ban other nations who should be on the red list. You see, what we are talking about is the correctness of certain names on the red list. Nigeria on that list as at now, from a country like UAE, is hypocritical. They are more threatened than us. If anything, we should be cautious of how our people mingle when they go there. The red alert should come first from us even. They are more threatened. They are more in danger as at today. We should be the one who will be curious about if you go there and bring this variant, how safe are we? Not for a country like that to put Nigeria on the red list. Look at the countries Rwanda put on the red list. 90% are justified based on current happenings. 90% of those South and Southern American countries are justified. If other countries do same, even if Nigeria does, it is to ensure that the world is safe. These countries are already seriously endangered. Let's keep the variant in check. It will be understandable. We won't raise issues with such, because those are not selfish or personal interest, actions taken for selfish or personal interest. Those are actions taken in defense of the entire globe. Because the more you allow the variants to spread, the more difficult it becomes to curtail. And now we are talking about having to take a fourth dose to fight the current variant. That means the world will spend more
on boosters.
So where decisions are taken that are explainable, that are justifiable, that are in tandem with current realities, you cannot fault such. What we are saying is that don't let politicize this fight against COVID-19.
All right, now the point there is, one of the reasons analysts are giving for Nigeria to be easily put on the list is the issue of those in Nigeria who travel sometimes. A lot of them present fake vaccine certificates, fake certification that I have taken the jab, meanwhile they've not taken the jab, and things like that. So when opportunity came to do this, it was very quick to say put Nigeria there because of that. Okay. What do you say about this?
Yeah, in that aspect, I'll say we now can learn from how badly some of our actions as nationals of this country can affect our image. If that is proven beyond reasonable doubt that a good number of Nigerians, in large percentage, has done that, and it's on record, can we really fault people who take actions against us? The answer is no. So sometimes when we want to act, and we are carrying that green passport, we should think of what this would do to us tomorrow. That will look like a good argument. That's why I said some of the arguments, I just, by the time you unwrap them, you begin to understand that this is one. If any country says, look, in our country we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people from your country who did this, even our diplomats will find it difficult defending us. But there are still avenues, other ways to treat such. We should not issue blanket decisions that will now affect. You see, there are people who have been very, very altruistic in dealing with this issue. They take what they need to take, they get the necessary documentation, and they don't do anything against the rules. They will be affected too. So we cannot be blankets in our response to such gentlemanly behaviors. But as Nigerians, we should learn from that and know that for everything we do that is ungentlemanly, that lacks the Omoluabi spirit, it will come back to haunt us.
Omoluabi, what's the Omoluabi?
That's the gentleman spirit. The Omoluabi is Yoruba description for a well-trained, well-brought up, and good-behaving person. You were brought up properly, you were born with honor, you were trained to have honor, and you are behaving like an honorable person.
I see. So
that's the entirety of the Omoluabi. It's not about you just turning out one day and saying, I'm not a billionaire. It doesn't make you an Omoluabi. How well behaved are you? How were you trained? So when you are a complete Omoluabi, you won't go and present fake certificate outside the country, because you already know before living here that this is not an Omoluabi behavior. This will not paint Nigeria and Nigerians in good light. Look at the outcome of such actions now. Do you know that if these countries have good arguments with empirical evidences for this particular argument, reason, we may find it difficult, accusing them of anything. Yeah, that's how bad some of the things we do can turn around to affect us. So in everything we do, we should give it good thought.
All right. Now, the Minister of Aviation is saying that Nigeria would, there was the initial talk about the likelihood to reciprocate the ban on putting those countries on also the Nigerian red list. But there's also the option of looking at, diplomatic solutions to some of these issues and all of that. What do you think we should be looking at?
Yeah, well, first, I must say I'm very proud as a Nigerian that we are not going cap in hand in approaching this issue. You see, the time has come that we should begin to give some dignity to our country. You decide to ban us without considering all the charters and the treaties we signed together. Then it is appropriate for Nigeria to say we may do same. I don't find that wrong in any way. It made me proud as a Nigerian. Yes, if you tackle me, I will dabble you. But having sent that signal in the interest of the global fight against COVID-19, I will plead with the authorities here in Nigeria not to go to the extreme. It also brings in the issue of the Omoluabi. The Omoluabi will not use all his tricks from his bag once. He will not use all his powers, all his capabilities to fight immediately. He saves the best for the last. Let us explore diplomatic options, discussions, possibilities of reasoning together. Because by the time we respond with our finality, which is to also ban, there will be a stalemate. it will not help the fight against COVID-19. But so far, the responses are fantastic. The diplomatic shuttles are great. We are a country, a sovereign nation. We may have trade inequalities. The trade volume from your country to my country may be more, and mine may be, you know the kind of things these countries consider. But we are equal nations. I'm sovereign, you're sovereign. You can't force your will on me indirectly by dictating what I do in trade, in aviation, in businesses, in governance. You cannot. Our people are legitimate residents of your country, for those who are residents there. Our people are legitimate visitors to your country. Don't make it look like we are a lesser nation. So the response of the Nigerian authority is okay by me, but let us apply more diplomatic approaches that could help us get better results.
All right. Now, before I let you go, there is also the talk about the time to unite as Africa. African leaders at one or two other fora have, come together to say, well, brothers, this is the time for us to look inward. We hear the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, recently talking about the issue of the need for African brothers, African countries and leaders to collaborate with each other in the area of science, the area of business, and especially in fighting Omicron. He was mentioning the issue of when it comes to scientists on the African continent, we have from Tanzania to Egypt to Nigeria to Ghana, there are competent people who can sit down and come up with something, intelligent Africans. What do you make of all of that when it comes to the call for African leaders to come together, speak in one voice? Because every time there is opportunity, sometimes maybe they don't seem to speak in one voice, or even if they do, they're acting in one voice or acting on being on the same page is always not the same.
Well, the leaders in Africa should know that at all time there is nothing that can surpass unity. One is forced to remember the beginning of organizations like OAU, Organization of African Unity, and its successor, the AU, African Union. At times, they started at similar times to what we have now. When the world is threatened, or the continent is threatened, there was need for, harmonization of approaches and efforts. Africa cannot need that at more than ever than we need it now. In the fight against Omicron, we need to unite, exchange notes, and look at what can be done. You see, the West has been able to prove to the world that each time we have issues and we bond, we solve our problems faster. Africa should take a cue from that. I like the decision or the suggestion by the South African president. I know at one of his recent visits abroad, President Muhammadu Buhari also hammered on the need for Africa, and in fact the developing world, to work together. He laid emphasis on what can be achieved through unity. And I think in fighting this scourge, African nations would move faster if they move together, because selective approach to it by the West too is not helping us. Okay, let's help Ghana, let's support Togo. What if we say support us as one, then we support ourselves as one, then we move together? Because if you defeat Omicron in Nigeria and it is still existing in Benin Republic, you've not done anything, given how porous our borders are.
We remember the days of Ebola.
Okay, good. Then there is the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, insecurity in Chad. Look at what is happening in Cameroon now. Gradually, what looked like a child's play, that the president had to send a police expedition to go and quell in southern Cameroon, has almost become a full-blown war. Why? Because there are insurgents in Nigeria on the border of Cameroon. And if there are insurgents, some little upcoming insurgents in Cameroon, they will find home with their brothers here, well groomed, well equipped. They go back. Other countries like Mali, it's an ongoing war. So countries like Togo, like Ghana should not sleep. There is need for that working together to approach all these issues. If Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco feels they are safe now, it's a matter of time. The war is in Libya, Eritrea, Ethiopia. And then before you know it, the insurgents will, once they are chased out of the place, they move into a safe zone. But if we are all confronting it as a general African problem, we may do better in handling it in good time.
All right, Dario Dufowoko, thank you so much for your time on the program.
Pleasure.
Thanks for your insight.
It's a pleasure.
Great.